Hey, what's up? How you doing today? It's your friend Phil, Project Management Trainer and Coach. Welcome to 40 Days to PMP and CAPM Exam Success. We are at a milestone today, folks. We are at the end of planning. Whew. Wasn't that long? You see, planning is huge, but we are at the final process within the planning process group. Plan stakeholder management. Awesome. So we've already talked about stakeholder management. We've gone through the identify stakeholders process much earlier on, remember. Now, you take what you derive from identifying stakeholders, which is the Stakeholder Register. That now becomes an input to plan stakeholder management. It becomes an input along with the project management plan and your usual suspects. And as a result of this process, you derive a stakeholder management plan, a plan for how to manage your stakeholders. How cool is that? Because our stakeholders are people who the project could affect and people who could affect the project. So it's very important to plan how to manage these folks, how to manage their interest. And when I say manage them, I'm not talking about you being their boss. I'm just talking about managing their engagement. So even though it says plan stakeholder management, bear in mind you're not planning how to manage them. A lot of times these stakeholders are senior to you in the firm, but you're planning how to get them engaged, how to ensure that their interests are well managed on the project. So your stakeholder register has all of this stakeholder information, names of people, names of different human resources working on the project, names of different entities that are somehow involved in the project. Take all that good information and through analytical techniques, you ask yourself, you ask the team, how should we manage stakeholder X or Y or Z? Is there anything that we're forgetting? You have that dialogue, through meetings with a team. You come out with a solid, airtight stakeholder management plan. And that is pretty much what we do in this process. Now, there is a very important sub-technique that is talked about in this process. It's called a stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. If you have not looked at the stakeholder engagement assessment matrix in the PMBOK guide, open up a PMBOK guide, do it. Because you will see stakeholders can be mapped across 5 different categories. A stakeholder could be clueless and disengaged. How will you categorize them? A stakeholder could be in a lead-in role. How do you classify them? So all of the categories from 1 to 5, I would like you to open up the PMBOK guide, take a look at the stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. How would you classify the unaware stakeholder? How would you classify stakeholder that is coming alongside in a supportive role? 5 classification types. Know them, folks. Know them, know them, know them. And that pretty much is a huge part of planning stakeholder management. How to map out where your stakeholders are on this stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. If a stakeholder is clueless and unaware and so disengaged, we want to put a C next to their name in that column. And C stands for current. They're currently there. And if you want them to be in a lead-in role, you put a D where you want them to be. D for desired. Currently unaware, but I desire that they be in a lead-in role. Okay, just take a look at that stakeholder engagement assessment matrix and just understand it, and it will really help you in questions that may emerge in this process. Okay. Again, the stakeholder register, don't forget, you've already got this. It's an input. Understand this becoming an input to the stakeholder management plan, and then as you take a look at the stakeholder management plan, try to identify all the places that the stakeholder management plan is used. Oh, and while you're at it, also take a look at all the places the stakeholder register is used. I'm sure it will help you get the full picture of what stakeholder management is and how it relates with the other knowledge areas. Okay, so stakeholder management plan, stakeholder register, analytical techniques, stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. Know that stuff. Alrighty, well, we're at the end of planning. So tomorrow we will begin to delve into the next process group. We will begin to delve into the executing process group. Thanks for your audience. Speak to you tomorrow.